Sick and tired of your love-hate relationship with wine?
Welcome to the Feel It Alcohol Free podcast. Hi, I'm Coach Ruby Williams.
And I'm Coach Susan Larkin.
We're two former wine lovers turned alcohol freedom coaches, exposing the lies about alcohol
and giving you, our listeners, the tools to break free so you can feel lit.
And when you're lit, you'll feel healthier, freer, and more in control of your life.
So relax, kick back, and get ready to feel lit alcohol free.
Welcome back to the Feel It Alcohol Free podcast. Coach Ruby and Coach Susan, we are here. We're doing a really cool series we're calling it the Mythbusters. And we've come up with 4 or 5 different myths that we thought we'd just talk about, discuss, share our stories, and bust those myths. So the first one, we hear this all the time, like, I'm a sober person, yet I'm worried that my drinking friends will think I'm judging them when they're drinking and I'm not. So it's like, yeah, Susan and I, we've just been talking about this, and we really, really feel this, like that we think that our friends will be judging, that we're judging them, you know? I actually say it backwards, right? Each time. So yeah. But yeah, so the question again is like, I'm worried because I'm sober, and I'm worried that my friends will think I will be judging them when they're drinking and I'm not. So yeah, do you have does that resonate with you, or is there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was very sensitive to this, especially around my family when I first became alcohol free, and I visited, and I sensed like a little, like when my mom wanted to have a glass of wine, that she felt kind of uncomfortable, and I went out of my way to just be like, Mom, you want some wine? Let me pour you some, just so she knew that I was not judging her. You can drink around me. It's not a big deal, you know, and I wanted her to feel comfortable and, you know, not awkward around me. And I've also noticed it, but at like networking events, and everyone's holding their little plastic cup of wine, and then they ask me what I do, and then you can just see them sort of like, it's kind of awkward and uncomfortable in those moments. And then usually I just go, oh, you know, not you, of course. I work with women who feel like they drink a little too much, and I'm not saying that's you, you know, like I sort of try to qualify it a little bit. But yeah, there's been some curiosity, and it is sometimes uncomfortable, I have to say. Like, we've been out to dinner with friends, and they're like, when they first find out, you know, so you don't drink at all, and like, oh, and then it's this really awkward conversation kind of. It almost feels like it's a conversation stopper sometimes, and everybody at the table is awkward and looking around, and so then it is, you know, I don't know if they're thinking I'm judging them, but it's definitely they feel uncomfortable with my choice not to drink.
Yeah, I can share some stories too, like around my family. I remember this one. We went out to dinner, and there was like 20 of us, a big group, maybe 15, 20 of us. And we had a long table. And I remember I was at one end of the table, and at the other end of the table, maybe 6 people, or they all ordered a wine or a cocktail, all of them. And then my side of the table, when it got to ordering, everybody was like, I'll have an iced tea, I'll have a soda. And when I know they all drank. And I felt like, do they think that I'm going to be judging them? You know, so they just decided not to drink. And it just felt awkward. I even though I said, go ahead, you guys, everybody can order drinks. Like, if you want, that's not, you know, I am not judging you, but it still felt a little like that. So again, it can get awkward. Sometimes I gauge the situation, right? If it's new people that I don't know very well, like maybe a networking event, not if it's about what job I do. I definitely would say I'm a coach, and this is what I do. But sometimes I just say I just don't drink alcohol. I just say that. And I don't say a lot more necessarily. Kind of gauging each situation. I remember one time I brought it up, though, at a 4th of July last year. And I think all the people that were there were maybe thinking about their drinking, like thinking about it after I mentioned it. But then it became a conversation of the whole night, which was kind of interesting. Lots and lots of curiosity. But yeah, I do kind of feel that sometimes. It's like, have you heard the phrase, it's like shining a mirror? When you say like, I don't drink alcohol, then they immediately, the person you're talking to thinks, they're in their own head, right? So they're like, oh my gosh, is she saying that I have a problem? I think that's what people think. I mean, I know that when I was drinking and somebody said they were sober, I definitely was judging them. So backwards too, like both ways. So, but now that I'm alcohol free, I just have so much compassion for every single person. And I know, yeah, it's, you have to diagnose yourself, or diagnosis is not the right word, decide if you think you want to stop or you're drinking too much. It's like, it's so personal. So I would never, as an alcohol free person or sober person, judge anybody else for their choices, right?
Right. And maybe they can misinterpret things, like when you want to leave a party, or I'd have gotten annoyed with people when I'm with them and they're all like really drunk and being obnoxious, and I'm the designated driver and I'm like, okay, everybody shut up back there, I'm trying to drive. Or you're ready to, again, like I said, you're ready to leave a party because it's boring. Drunk people are boring. And so I'm not necessarily judging. I'm just like, I'm ready to go because I've heard your joke 3 times now and it's not fun for me. And at this point, it's evolved into something that's not fun for me. Or sometimes people get nasty, and I know that's the alcohol talking, and so I'm not judging them. I'm just like, I don't want to be treated like this. I had my own car at that time, and I'm like, I'm going. And you probably need to get an Uber and leave your car here. Bye.
Yeah.
So.
I would say I'm not judging, but I'm sad sometimes. Like, I remember going to a concert in San Francisco, and, most people are drinking a lot, and just sad. Like, I just know that when you're drinking a lot, you're not actually experiencing the concert. Your senses, you're not hearing things as well. And people were falling over, or, they were not having as good of a time. Like, that's the myth too, that, oh, it's so much more fun at a concert, but I have the same experience but it's a lot of times I'm scared for the people. If I go to, say, a party and everybody's drinking so much, yeah, I'm worried for, like, are they going to hurt themselves or be sick tomorrow? Or are they going to get a DUI? I worry so much that sometimes I just have to go home. And that's I will take my own car because I don't like to be a designated driver. I've had that situation and it's no fun, but I will drive my own car. It's one of my things that I always do because I can arrive early when people are not drunk yet, usually, and have some great conversations. And then leave early when people start to get annoying. Like you said, repeating their stories, repeating their jokes, or now that I think talking about wine is so boring. I went to a dinner party and they're like, oh, it smells like raspberries. And I was just like, oh my gosh, is this literally the only conversation we're going to be having? And it was. They just kept talking about, which when I was drinking, that would have been an interesting conversation. But it's just not as interesting anymore. It's not that I'm judging. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, I just feel like I want people to make an informed choice. So if I'm telling you something that I know about alcohol, like there's no healthy amount of alcohol, or, what gray area drinking is, or if I mention it, it's not because I'm judging you. It's just sort of make an informed choice. I'm just so aware of all, our cultural beliefs and how they've been formed by the media and the big alcohol and commercials, and how a lot of people don't know, the cancer risks. They don't know just some of the facts about how alcohol ages your brain, ages your skin, and so that could be construed, I guess, as being judgy. I mean, you have to have tact and you have to know the right times to say certain things to people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just your actions and being in people's lives long enough to where you are the message. There's a quote by St. Francis of Assisi that says, preach the gospel at all times. If necessary, use words. And I feel like our lifestyle and just who we are and how we show up is words enough. And sometimes that's all that we need to offer. And so, yeah, I don't jump on a soapbox and say very much very often unless people kind of bring the subject up a little bit. And then they seem open to receiving the information. And also, there is a ripple effect. I mean, it's been 5 years for me now, and you're 6 years. And so people are used to me not drinking, number one. And I've just noticed, I mean, I was talking to my cousin the other day, and at almost every function, like Easter, she gets an alcohol-free sparkling wine and has that as an option and drinks it herself and offers it to people. And that just blows me away. That blows me away because this is her way of also mitigating her drinking. She doesn't want to drink as much, so she has an alcohol-free option. And I just love that. Yeah. So,
and I agree. Like, you can just live alcohol-free, and then I'll drop little seeds, not about necessarily even just like, oh, if they say, Ruby, you look younger or something. Oh yeah, alcohol. Freedom is, what do we call it? The fountain of youth. We have one of our episodes on that, but like, it makes us look younger, glowing, or you can drop little seeds. I sleep so much better, or I've lost weight, whatever you think, because that ripple effect is real. And I've noticed in my family and with my friends, actually both, that they're just drinking so much less. And I think honestly, it was me that was, I don't know if this is the right word, the pusher. Yeah, the pusher. Yeah. But I definitely brought, I was thinking this last Christmas for the dinner, I think there may have been one bottle of wine on the table. And I think maybe it was half gone. So which means there was 2 glasses poured, like for Christmas or something. It was one of the holidays. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, normally there would have been like 6 or 7, like a bottle for each person or something, like enough people. So it's definitely a ripple effect. And
I recognize that too, because I sometimes think that too in the back of my mind. I'm choosing to do different things. So like I'm going and playing pickleball with my sister. I'm going for a hike with my cousin. And I think, previously I would have been like, let's go to the wine bar and let's do this. Yes. And especially visiting my mom at home, I would have been the one at 4:00 going, hey mom, let's open a bottle of wine.
Right.
Where then she, when I'm there, is just like, how's one glass with dinner or something. And so taking me out of the equation has changed. Yeah. Or I've just noticed that, people don't drink as much when I'm not the one starting the party.
Yeah. So, and honestly, it's truly the opposite is true. I think, well, at least for me, I can't speak for every sober person if they're judging somebody, but I think in most of us, especially if we've had a problem, we're not judging. I have so much compassion is what I want to say, and empathy. Like, I've been there. And I cannot know how much you're drinking all the time. Again, it's so personal.
Yeah.
And it's where you are. And we talk about the 4 A's, which is asleep, aware, awake, and alive, where if someone's asleep to this, like, it's culturally accepted. Maybe you are at a point where you just drink only at parties and you can totally take it or leave it. Or maybe you have a problem, but you're asleep to it. You just don't even realize it yet. And this happened for me for years and years. I was just kind of like, as my tolerance increased, then I became aware and I was like, oh, I definitely think I have a problem. I'm thinking about it all the time. I'm wanting it, or I'd have rules like, I'm only going to have 1 glass tonight, and I'd end up having more. So these were kind of the things that made me really aware, or that I'd wake up every morning going, oh, I just drank again last night when I said I wasn't going to. What's that about? Yeah. So that's the awareness. And then awake is where you're really like actively doing different things, trying to like, okay, I want to stop. So, and then alive is where you and I are, right? You're 5 years alcohol free. I'm 6 years alcohol free. And like, we're living alive. And that's where we can be that role model. And And again, I'm not preachy either. I don't preach. But if people are curious, I'll totally I recommend, maybe reading a book or listening to a podcast. How about Feel It Alcohol Free podcast? That's a good one. No.
That's great. Yeah. And the aware stage can be a long time, as we know.
And 7 years for me.
And that's the most painful stage. And awake is the hard work. You're getting awake. You are experimenting with things, like you said, but it's still work. And then when you get to alive, it's like true freedom. So
yeah, the mastery. It's like easy to be alcohol free. I have no desire, right?
Yeah,
I just don't want it. So I could go to a bar or a tasting room with everybody drinking, and that's fine. I mean, I don't have a desire. It's not what I choose to do. You remember, like you were saying, it's not like make different choices. I could go to a bar. I could go to a winery, I guess, but it's not my first choice. Not what I would want to do, because it's boring again, watching people just drink and talk about alcohol. I don't know. It's just it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
It's not what I choose.
And it depends. I've gone wine tasting with family and friends, and it's about being together, and we don't just talk about the wine. And I have, and one time it was just a lot of water, but most wineries now have some sort of NA option, not necessarily wine, but they have something you can drink. And then it's just about the connection and the activity. And, back in my wine tasting days, we would just hit winery. It was all about drinking. It reminds me of that movie Sideways, where they're tasting, and then the guy goes, "When are we going to start really drinking? Forget about all this tasting business." And so now wine tasting would be more like just experiencing, Sonoma and all the other things too. So it wouldn't just be winery. It'd be winery, maybe some olive oil tasting, maybe a picnic, and enjoying the scenery and that kind of thing. So it does change. One of the things that's just coming to mind is also this idea of defending our choice, or wanting people to understand our choice. Like you said, if they're asleep, they just don't get it.
They don't
get it. And to argue with people and want them to understand why you've made this choice is really tough to get into that place, because you can feel really frustrated. And so I would just say, you just have to know that you made your choice. Let them, if they don't understand it, that's fine. Agree to disagree, or how can they disagree with your choice? You know what I mean? It's a personal thing. It's your personal testimony of what works for you. And so people do get very defensive about their drinking, and it can get awkward in that way too. So I would just say drop the rope. Don't go there.
Stay in your own lane.
Don't try to convince them that your choice is the best choice or why you made your choice. I know it's usually coming from a place of we care. Like, we see this super healthy person and you're like, well, I really want you to know that even though you're doing all these healthy things, this one thing is really harpooning that. But if they're not going to get it, they're not getting it. And so,
And I know that, like, when people shine a light, if we go back to that we think it's a bad thing, but I think it's a good thing that someone's going to question it. Like, because as you said earlier, no amount of alcohol is healthy for the human body. So they start to plant that seed, like, oh, maybe that's something I should look at. But oftentimes the awkward part is, like, I say I'm alcohol free, or even if I say I'm a coach, like, they immediately go, oh, well, I really only drink one glass. This is funny. It's like, I'll get this a lot. I don't know if you do too. Like, I only have one glass, one night, or they start to explain something, and I'm really like, oh, I'm not. You do you. That's fine. Yeah, I'm literally not judging. I'm like, okay, I'm just saying, like, I'm alcohol free because I feel better.
Yeah. The end. Yeah. And then move on to another topic. Just do that. Oh, and how are the kids? Or whatever. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the best thing to do. People will become aware when they're ready, and you can't necessarily speed that up. Like you said, you can plant a little seed, and then somebody else might water it. They may hear something from somebody else. They may hear something on YouTube or on Instagram or Facebook, and then they recall back to Oh, yeah, I know Susan or Ruby, she doesn't drink. And then, somebody else connects the dots, and that's okay.
Yeah. So I think we busted this myth. What do you think, Susan?
I think, yeah, for us, I mean, there may be
Yeah.
people out there that judge people who drink, but I definitely don't.
Actually,
And
that's great. If you want to reach out to us and say, but I think most of us, especially if we've had addiction, I'm so empathetic and I get you. Like, I get you. Like, I'm not judging because I've been there. Right.
yeah.
And I think that's the thing. Yeah. Again, you do you, I'll do me. And we can stay in our lanes and be respectful, but also shine and be a beacon, like I'm shining a light, like alcohol freedom's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And then the flip side, like you said, feeling like people are judging you. What's that saying? Other people's opinions of me are none of my business. It's hard, easier said than done. It's definitely easier said than done because I've felt that discomfort where you feel like somebody's like, why would you do that? I mean, they literally say that to your face and you're like,
that's when you go, I sleep better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lost weight and I feel healthier and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No hangovers. Well, we're at the fun part of the podcast where we do our Feel It. And it's Susan's turn.
It's my turn.
Susan, what do you do to feel lit, alcohol free?
Well, hooray, it's summer and I can be out in the sunshine. And I just did not know how much I need sunshine. And I have been gardening, love just making things prettier, I think, or I don't know, creating calm out of chaos or something. I don't know why I love gardening so much, but I do. I've planted my garden and I move some plants around. I love moving stuff around too. Like this is getting too crowded and then I move it somewhere else and I give it away. Like I just gave a ton of iris away to people, but just being out in the sunshine and getting my hands, I start wearing gloves and then they're off and my hands are in the dirt and I really have to scrub them because they still even have dirt on the sides of my nails. But I just love getting my hands in the dirt and that just being out in the sunshine, grounding. I usually am barefoot and getting my grounding in by just connecting with the earth just fills me with those dose chemicals, the dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. It just really fills me. I'm just so happy after I'm out there and I'm a super dirty gardener too. Like I'm filthy when I'm done. Like I've got dirt all over everywhere. Like, because I just get down in there. And yeah, so almost every morning I go out to just walk around my yard, pick weeds, figure out where I want to move things, and figure out if I want to plant something new here or there. And I have a very large, unruly yard. And so a lot of it's very unruly. And then there's just these little sections that are more manicured. So
yeah, you showed me a video this morning and there was peonies. So peony is your flower. And then you had a bunch of vegetables planted in planter boxes. Garden. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with me. Yeah, I was going to share that my grandfather was a farmer back, in the 1920s. Like his family they were watermelon farmers in California.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
Yeah. And I always think of, did you ever read, what is it called? Little House on the Prairie books?
Oh, yes. They were my favorite. Yeah.
Well, there was a boy one, the one Alfonso or whatever his name was.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's called Farmer Boy. And it just so reminds me of my grandfather growing up and he was a farmer. So it's like in our blood. Everybody in the family farm, like farm gardens. And it's just so, I agree, like getting my hands in the dirt, my feet in the grass, planting, I love it so much. And what I do is instead of giving away plants, I'm more of I collect seeds.
Oh.
And then I give away seeds. So I love to I just go on YouTube and how do you collect seeds of last year I have hundreds of them. I could send you some, but they're called sweet peas.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know sweet peas? They kind of climb on walls and they smell so good. So I've got a jar full of 1,000 or 100. I don't know. They're tiny. They're the littlest tiny seeds. They're the size of a pinhead.
Ooh, I'd
But,
love them. I'd love some.
Yeah, I'll send you, or I'll post a picture too for all you listeners of my sweet peas. But gardening, it's amazing. And I started with my son when he was like 2, and we'd have a garden, and I got him gardening, and hopefully he'll take it on for his life. But it was a really fun way to get him to eat vegetables.
Yeah.
Because I'd go out there and be like, eat this tomato. And he would just like pick a tomato or pull out a carrot. Yeah, he would, we'd go wash the carrot and then he'd eat it like it was candy.
Well, that's so great. Well, you know something? My grandfather was a farmer too in Northern California. Yeah, he did barley and alfalfa and had cattle and sheep. And so it's in my blood too. And we used to go up to the ranch every Thanksgiving, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Easter. And my dad would hunt because they had pheasant up there and duck and such. So I grew up like running around a ranch, running wild. I think we almost burned the barn down one time. Yeah.
That's the way to grow up.
It was
have some
fun.
free range.
Yeah. We'd love it if 70s. Like a tractor had the keys still in it. We'd start up the tractor and we were just running wild, but we were having fun.
We just had so much more freedom, I think. When I think back to my parents would be like, just go ahead, have fun all day, be back by dinner, or come home for lunch real quick yeah. So,
yeah.
Gardening, and earthing, get our feet in the ground, sun on our faces. It's so healing. Nature is healing.
Yeah. Even the times when I didn't have a house or a yard, I had a balcony or a terrace or something, I would have potted plants.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, this has been so fun. Yeah, we are going to do some more myth busting episodes for y'all. And thank you so much for listening. We love our listeners. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, we would.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to Feel It Alcohol-Free Podcast. Do you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show?
All you need to do is head over to Apple Podcasts and do 2 simple things. Leave a rating and review telling us what you think of the show, and in that review, ask us any questions you have about breaking free from wine or living an alcohol-free lifestyle.
That's it. Then tune in to hear your question answered live.
And remember, do something today that will help you feel lit.
Don't forget to check out Feel It 21.
Your alcohol-free adventure awaits.